So let's like segue over to protein timing.
Hmm.
We now know from your book and from a lot of other research that protein is important, especially as we get older. A lot of people are already getting enough protein in their diets. It depends upon, how you exercise and how you live, what your age is. And as you get older, we need it even more. And as you pointed out very clearly in your other book, The Whole Body Reset, that we need it earlier in the day or else you're at a protein deficit. So, talk
Right.
to us a little bit about that.
Sure. So if you make a muscle, feel that bicep right there. That's about 5% of your total skeletal muscle mass. That's how much we lose every decade after age 30. And the reason is because we develop something called anabolic resistance. Essentially, it's a fancy way of saying our bodies have difficulty taking the protein that we eat and turning it into muscle. So when my 16-year-old daughter has a glass of milk, she gets 8 grams of protein. Her body goes, yes, let's start rebuilding some muscle. If I have a glass of milk with 8 grams of protein, my body says, whatever, I'm not impressed. It's almost like the make muscle button gets dulled as we age, which is why we keep having to hit it harder with larger doses. So the average American eats about 90 grams of protein a day. And that's actually about what you should eat. The problem is we tend to eat 60% of it at dinner time.
Right.
So we start breakfast, we have a Danish, a donut, a cup of coffee. Even if we're eating healthy with oatmeal and almonds and blueberries, we're still not getting the amount of protein that we need. Women need at least 25 grams of protein and men about 30 grams of protein to start the day. And if you don't start your day with that amount of protein, you are in muscle loss mode that day. So every day is a muscle gain day or a muscle loss day. And if you have more muscle loss days than muscle gain days, that leads us to something called frailty, which is where you begin to have difficulty doing everyday tasks as we get older. It seems to be a natural process. It is not a natural process. It is something that you can prevent and even reverse with a combination of protein timing and some, relatively modest exercise. In fact, studies show that people in their 60s who eat using this method and then weight train have the exact same results as people in their 20s.
Yeah, it's
So this idea
incredible.
you
Hmm.
can't build or maintain muscle as you're older, wrong. You
Wrong.
can, but you have to eat right in order to support it.
Right, right. No, it's amazing. It's all science backed, and I've been following because I have a very real interest in bone health and bone loss and bone density. Really goes hand in hand with muscle sarcopenia, muscle loss, and so this is of great importance to me, especially as I'm getting older. But getting back to protein, so you do recommend, of course, 25 to 30 grams in the morning as well. And one thing that you do recommend is whey protein, especially isolate, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Whey
Well, there's two,
protein as a
yeah.
but tell us about that. What do you recommend?
So there's two types of whey protein, isolate and concentrate. I'll get into the difference in a moment.
Hmm.
But whey protein is particularly high in an amino acid called leucine, which is sort of the magic muscle maker for older people. So as we get older, it becomes more and more important to kind of focus on that. You don't have to have it if you don't like it. If you want to eat Greek yogurt or cottage cheese, if you're vegan and you want to eat a combination of plants to build up that protein, that's fine. But the easiest, simplest, and most effective way is with whey protein. I make it in smoothies. Sometimes I'll mix it into yogurt, or I'll mix it into like cereal with milk. Um, that is definitely, a way I recommend. There are two types of whey protein, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
concentrate and isolate.
Hmm.
Concentrate is more caloric, and for people who are much older, people in their late 70s, 80s, early 90s, who are having difficulty holding on to mass it is not a bad way to go. The
Okay.
problem with concentrate is that it's heavy on lactose. So if you're at all lactose sensitive, I recommend whey protein isolate,
Mhm.
which has had the lactose pulled out.
Right.
So if you have any lactose sensitivity, the guy on the bus next to you will be very happy that you chose isolate over concentrate.